Joining us now to help break this all down for us is Patrick Schoettmer, a political science professor at Seattle University. Professor, I can't thank you enough for your time. This is something that, of course, is so broad that we need to fully try to help viewers understand the context of this. So for viewers who are trying to make sense of this quickly evolving situation, what would you say would be the most important historical context that they need to understand about the Iran-Israel relationship?
Well, the Iran-Israel relationship is significantly mediated by the American-Israel relationship. And in that relationship, there are two key moments or two key dates you want to keep in mind. That would be in 1953, when the Americans backed the overthrow of a democratically elected government in Iran, led by Prime Minister Mossadegh, and in 1979, when the Islamic Revolution overthrew a close ally to both the U.S. and Israel, Reza Shah Pahlavi. And because of the American and Israeli support for Iran, which had traditionally served as sort of a three-leg bulwark to prop up each other's interests, Iran has since that time positioned itself as political enemies to both Israel and the United States. And so that's where a lot of these tensions originally lie.
Yeah, the tensions are not new, certainly. So what, if anything, Patrick, do you think makes this moment more significant or potentially more dangerous than the past flare-ups?
Well, this flare-up, the justifications we see coming from the Trump administration seem to be very thin, and more importantly, they seem to be directed primarily at forcing regime change. If the Iranian government feels like they're on their back foot or this is their last time, and we've seen the assassination of a number of high-profile leaders, including the supreme leader, then that could convince the Iranians that they have nothing to lose, the Iranian government that they have nothing to lose, and will unleash everything they have left in order to try to preserve their regime.
This is something that's been on my mind personally. While this is all happening overseas, here at home, we're in a partial government shutdown right now. Patrick, what risks do you think that could pose to our country if this conflict were to escalate?
Well, have a partial government shutdown, particularly related to the DHS funds, in no small part because Democrats are upset about how parts of Homeland Security, like ICE, have been behaving over the past year or so. So this is already a tense, polarized situation. And we know from the polling that Democrats and independents were both deeply opposed to these attacks before they were ever launched. So that funding issue becomes one of the few leverage points Democrats have to try to force a concession. And we could see an escalation over that issue because of this new conflict in Iran.
And back to this conflict, realistically, how could it spread beyond Iran and Israel? And what might keep it from spiraling into something bigger?
Well, Iran plays a central role in supporting both Russia in their conflict with Ukraine and China by being one of their primary suppliers of foreign oil. Both of those nations could feel particularly threatened if the Iranian regime looked like it's going to go under, and they would both lose a key linchpint or support. That could force them to either expand or escalate or initiate conflicts that they have not yet been planning. You could see Russia perhaps look to launch strikes that could limit oil access elsewhere, or you could see China begin to escalate or saber rattle around Taiwan as a way of putting pressure on the U.S. To alleviate some of the pressure on their Middle Eastern ally.
Now, Patrick, we do need to try to wrap things up here, but if you could really quickly just tell us what indicators viewers should be paying attention to that would tell us whether the situation is stabilizing or escalating.
I think you want to watch what's happening in the streets in Iran, whether or not there seems to be a popular movement to move against the regime, or there seems to be a doubling down. If there's a doubling down, there's no amount of bombing that will replace the regime and would require U.S. Forces on the ground to do that.
Patrick, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for joining us today. This is Patrick Schoettmer, a Seattle University political science professor, joining us. Thank you.